I think I hear the music playing in the background. And so today, once a month, like clockwork, Dr. Joel Fuhrman is on the Lillian McDermott radio show. I'm so excited. I love having him on the show so that he can teach us about nutrition. It's time to learn a new truth. Fasten your seatbelt. We're going to learn and grow together. Time to dance. Yeah, Brian, you can turn up the music just a bit. There you go. Perfect.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show, the purpose of the show is to provide a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Today, if you have any questions of all the guests about nutrition, medical doctors, I just absolutely am thrilled beyond words when I see Dr. Joel Fuhrman's face across the camera, because we get to bring him in from New Jersey or from wherever he is from the world. He is such a great friend of the show. And for those of you, if you have a question about nutrition, this is the guy I trust. This is the guy I go to when I need a friend and I need advice. I want to, today, I want to encourage you to embrace the terminology G-bomb. And I hope that you've had your G-bombs this morning. I already did. Not all of them, but I'm on my way to getting them inside of my body, because my body is my temple. And G-bombs are greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, seeds, and nuts. I just dehydrated my walnuts that they're just waiting for me, tasting so delicious. World-renowned New York Times best-selling author, president of Nutritional Research Foundation, keynote teacher, chef. He's got so many hats that he wears. Dr. Joel Fuhrman hears all sorts of misinformation that people believe are facts, but they're myths about nutrition. It is time that we figure out what is the best form of protein for our muscles. What are the benefits to eating a plant-based whole food, Nutritarian, vegan? What is the best? I've got an email today from one of you who listens to Dr. Joel Fuhrman, loves to hear what he has to say, and they listened for the first time. And they have a question. You too can call or email or text me anytime that Dr. Joel Fuhrman or any of my guests are on and you have an extra question, because they're more than happy to dispel any of these rumors or myths. So today we have Dr. Joel Fuhrman, and since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that he is back to do just that. Welcome back, Dr. Joel Fuhrman, to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show.
Hi, Lily.
It's
Excited
always
to be here today.
I know, it's always nice to see you looking so nice. And for those of you who would like to take a glance of Dr. Joel Fuhrman, the show is also later on YouTube so that you can catch all our conversations. Share a little bit about your background, Dr. Fuhrman, because there are a lot of doctors out there that were taught, they were trained, but you went beyond that. You've gone beyond what your education taught you in school, and now you are such an advocate for a wonderful, optimal nutrition. Share a little bit about your background and how that got started.
Well, I was on the world team in figure skating in the early 1970s. After I left my skating career, I was working in my family's business, but I decided to go, but my strong interest in nutrition and health, which started my teenage years, I decided I wanted to go back to medical school eventually to pursue a career in nutritional and becoming a physician specializing in nutritional medicine. So I didn't develop this specialty. I went to, after I became a doctor because of my love for nutrition and how America was going in the wrong direction. And by becoming a physician, I thought I could help direct and guide and offer people an option, not alternative medicine, because I don't consider this alternative medicine or complementary medicine.
No.
I think this is the correct medicine. This is the way healthcare should be. It's where physicians should have gone, if not twisted and perverted by economic and the pharmaceutical industry. And so because I consider drugs to be toxic and poisonous, which they are. And you learn that in medical school, that drugs are poisonous. And so but in any case, I knew it would be a growing interest of the American population. So I went to medical school with a specific purpose of getting the right type of degrees so I could pursue this interest. So I pursued my specialty in nutrition through medical school and after medical school and even before medical school, formulating therapeutic modalities to reverse disease. So I'd specialize in reversing disease through nutritional methods. So my protocols to reverse asthma and migraine headaches and rheumatoid arthritis and psoriasis and diabetes and high blood pressure and obesity and severe heart disease, and let people know that nutritional science has made such remarkable advances that we can live to be 100 years old with our full mental faculties intact and no cancer and no heart attacks. These diseases are just the result of nutritional ignorance and nutritional and barbaric, primitive the way we treat disease in America.
Absolutely. And today we are going to learn some of the myths that are out there. There are more and more athletes are going Nutritarian. They're learning about nutrition and healing their body and being peak performers at that moment. And we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Joel Fuhrman when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Good start, Dr. Fuhrman. It's sad that we have so many people that have been given this misinformation, and it's telling. It's really telling that to me, the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry couldn't be in better partners to create disease and treat disease better than that combination, because we do need to eat. We do need to eat. We don't need to do drugs. We don't need to drink alcohol. We don't need to do, smoke, but we do need to eat. And it's finding that balance, especially when you think that the way you've been eating your whole life is the only way. I see that you're writing some notes down for the next segment.
Oh, we're just on commercial break now. Yeah, I figured I was just.
Here we go. Okay.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow with one another. Today's teacher is Dr. Joel Fuhrman, world-renowned Dr. Joel Fuhrman, best-selling author, New York Times best-selling author, and has over, I think now, 14 books. I mean, there's so much to learn when Dr. Joel Fuhrman. I learn a little bit more, and I become stronger and more convicted that this is the nutrition that I subscribe to. This is what I do. And I feel much better at my age today than I did when I was in my 20s, in my 30s, or even in my 40s. So today we are talking about how more and more athletes are changing their nutrition. Dr. Joel Fuhrman and I were talking before the show that our nutrition, we're so connected to food. And just like any relationship, it could be, dysfunctional. Many of us have a dysfunctional relationship with food, and it gets handed down from our family. And that's how we get the diseases handed down to us. It's not so much the DNA, it's the recipes that we're eating that are contributing to turning on that gene. And so I received an email Dr. Fuhrman, and I'm so grateful to you for your time today. Her name is Ebony. I received an email. She said this: I have an 11-year-old 5'6", that currently weighs 270 pounds. She also has hyperinsulinemia. I know I'm saying this wrong. We were advised to do the ketogenic diet. She is interested in doing a whole food plant-based diet with maybe eating meat 1 time a week. I also have 70 pounds to lose. I would like to know how best to eat plant-based in a way that she will be able to lose weight. To me, the key word here I hear is lose weight, but I'm translating that to be healthy. Can we use things like tortillas, potatoes, and maybe whole wheat flour for blueberry muffins, or should we cut out the carb stuff completely? Okay, and then she says from the beginning, but no, yes, out from the beginning and always. There's so much different information out there. I'm just confused as to what to do. All I know is that I'm willing to do what I need for her to lose a decent amount of weight this year. Just don't know what to do about anything else because, she doesn't want her daughter to gain weight. But I think the focus, although in the letter it says gain weight, I think what I'm translating as a mother is she's concerned about her daughter's health and her own health. But the focus is weight loss, which do you find that many people come to you because they want weight loss as opposed to be healthy?
Well, I think most people know that being overweight, they can't be overweight and healthy. And so people understand that being overweight is unhealthy. And I think that people in communities across America see people dying all around them. They see people having leg amputations and going into kidney failure and diabetes and going blind. And they're not completely ignorant of the fact that fast food kills, and the American diet is dangerous, and obesity is dangerous. And by the way, this woman said her daughter has hyperinsulinemia, and I just want to make that clear that all overweight people, because fat on the body blocks the utilization of insulin, the pancreas is forced to produce excessive amount of insulin, and insulin is a hormone that promotes fat storage and cellular replication and cancer and atherosclerosis and aging of the brain, and the point is it's dangerous. But all overweight people have high circulating levels of insulin, unless the insulin-secreting cells of the pancreas start to poop out from producing so much insulin, you develop diabetes. Yeah. So hyperinsulinemia or high insulin levels is a precursor to diabetes. It means she's pre-diabetic.
Sure.
And likely to become diabetic. And it's very dangerous to have a person who's an 11-year-old that's 5'6" and 270 pounds.
Yes.
That's called child abuse or child neglect.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter whether it's intentional. Just because a parent doesn't know how they're killing their children, you can feed your child lead. You don't know that there's lead paint in your house. It's still dangerous whether you know it or not.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if your heritage is involved eating fried chicken, or hot dogs. The World Health Organization has declared fast foods, heavily fried foods, and processed meats as a class 1 carcinogen.
Yes.
We're talking about a class 1 carcinogen. It means not a probable carcinogen, but a definitive carcinogen in the same category as asbestos and cigarette smoking.
Yes.
So she's poisoning her child. And so, this show is not the right place for her to get the advice she needs of how to care for her child. Okay. We can't be on all day training her what to do. She has to read one of my books.
Yes. Well,
I suggest she reads The End of Dieting and really gets the information she needs how to feed her child for the rest of her, and start right away. Now, my Nutritarian program has been documented in the scientific literature to be the most effective way to lose weight permanently. In other words, the average person loses 50 pounds the first year. That's average. A lot of overweight people lose more than 100 pounds the first year. But when followed year to year, they keep it off. They don't regain their weight. It's not based on a fad. It's based on healthy eating and you're going to do to lose weight. Yeah, but the other reason that you're eating a Nutritarian diet is to extend your lifespan, slow the aging process, and be in great health and avoid serious diseases. And we're eating a lot of vegetables, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's a high vegetable diet. So we can divide foods into three categories, right? The first category is processed foods like pasta and bread and sugar and, and donuts and cookies and rice cakes and breakfast bars. The second category is animal products. And the third category is produce. And the less the produce is processed, the more it's in its natural form, the more healthy it is, and the more weight loss favorable it is. So the question you asked me about pancakes and flour are not glycemically favorable. Even whole wheat flour raises insulin. This person already has a problem with insulin. She should not be eating pancakes and bread and pasta, and flour-based products.
Tortilla, potatoes.
Not the wheat per se, it's grinding it into flour. She should mostly be getting her carbohydrates from whole food like peas and carrots, even sweet potatoes and squashes and steel-cut oats, and she should be eating natural foods. But we're gonna answer her one question, and she's gonna have another question. We'll answer another question, she'll have another question. So she really has to get the right information.
Okay.
And people do have the ability to come to drfuhrman.com in my member center and ask me questions and work with me and my medical staff personally. So she's in a serious condition now. Being a 11-year-old who's 270 pounds is a dangerous condition that needs, that obviously the mother has a lot of things to rethink, because what she's doing, she's killing her child. So she really needs professional advice.
Yes.
And if she wants to have the ongoing professional advice, she can communicate with me and my medical staff through the drfuhrman.com member center on a continual and ongoing basis. She has to do her homework.
Yes.
She has to do her homework, learn how to make the great tasting vegetable-based recipes. Her child should be eating a salad every day for lunch. She should be making a big pot of vegetable bean soup on the weekend and serving this vegetable bean soup for her with a salad and bean soup, probably oatmeal or steel-cut oats with berries and some flax and some nuts for breakfast, and then the vegetable salad and the bean soup for lunch with a piece of fruit. Her diet should be very regimented, and the child should be losing approximately 2 pounds per week.
Would you recommend the 1 in 10, 1 in 20 detox program for her? Because that gives her recipes. It's a quick way to get that, the information and how to eat. You detail breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Would that be a good start for her if she wants to start right away with changing the nutrition?
Well, the 10 and 20 detox or the 10 and 20 weight loss plan will let her exactly know what to shop for and cook to eat at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's something she could start with. But because it's a booklet and it has 20 pages of 20 days of meal planning in there and recipes, it does not have the complete encyclopedic information on why this works and how it works and what not to eat and how to answer all the thousands of questions, why this is bad and that's good.
Sure.
It's if you just want to go and do it, but I want her to know why to do it.
Absolutely.
Her chance of succeeding in the long term is proportional to her knowledge base, and that she should really get by reading the book The End of Dieting to give her the information she needs so the child doesn't yo-yo the weight and doesn't make mistakes, and she doesn't make mistakes. And they should do this together. She and her daughter should be eating the same foods together. Yes,
and I think she wants to do that. Now, she asked about the ketogenic diet, and I think it's very intuitive of her 11-year-old that she wants to do whole food plant-based. That's very interesting that it's the daughter who wants to do whole food, but her doctor is telling her to do the ketogenic diet. What would you like to share about the ketogenic diet that we need to know? Maybe some of the dangers or why it works, why it doesn't work? What would you like to say about that, Dr. Fuhrman?
Well, the first thing is we make decisions about nutrition and by looking at scientific studies mostly. And we give studies more credence that follows large numbers of people, thousands of people for decades, 10, 20, 30 years. Mm-hmm. And so when we look at people on diets that are vegetable-based and more plants and less animal products, we see enhanced longevity, low heart attack rates, or no heart attacks don't happen, and strokes go down, and cancers go down. We see people as they eat a more ketogenic diet, or they cut out carbohydrates. See, the word ketogenic means you're producing ketones, mm-hmm. and you're producing and your body is becoming acidic, and that's due to carbohydrate restriction. And these carbohydrate restricted diets have been popular for about 30 years. since Atkins started the ketogenic diets back in the 1960s. And they have a long history of causing early death. So we're talking about diets. So you can do different types of ketogenic diets. One type is a diet that restricts plant carbohydrates, means you're restricting the phytochemicals and antioxidants that prevent cancer, and you're eating more animal products that do not contain phytochemicals and antioxidants. Yeah. Plus, they're promoting a hormone called IGF-1. Diets high in animal protein promote a hormone called IGF-1, or insulin-like growth factor 1, which is linked to cancer like breast cancer, prostate cancer, and colon cancer. So we're talking about that type of a ketogenic diet is definitely cancer promoting. Then there's another type, and these are fad diets that people want to give people gimmicks and fads without long-term, decades of proof showing they extend human life. So the next type of ketogenic diet would be one where they recognize that excess animal protein, accelerates aging and causes death. So they put people on a high oil, high fat ketogenic diet. So they restrict carbohydrates, but now they use coconut oil, avocados, and a lot of oil to get calories in place of. And what they've done is instead of using sesame seeds and flax seeds and sunflower seeds and hemp seeds and nuts, they're using a lot of oil. So we're using foods that decrease the phytochemical and antioxidant concentration of a diet, still create acids to form, which age tissue, and now we're taking concentrated calories, which don't turn off the apostat. In other words, there's no fiber, there's no phytochemicals, so you have to overconsume calories and produce a lot. And you're losing weight, though. You still can lose weight on that diet, but it's accelerating the aging process. It's aging you at a more rapid rate, and obviously not shown to extend life, but most likely shortening lifespan considerably.
Perfect. Okay, so now, we've discussed this email that we received. I'm very grateful that Ebony, that you are making a change, that you're aware, and that you're listening. And we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Fuhrman when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you.
That's not my field of expertise,
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay.
And it keeps me from, I don't have a predetermined bias that I'm trying to do.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay, here we go. This time is just flying. Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where you can hear us worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I am your host, Lillian McDermott, and today our teacher is Dr. Joel Fuhrman. For those of you who are listening today, you're in for a treat if you haven't heard already. Dr. Fuhrman says it like it is. No sugar coating, because we shouldn't eat sugar, and no sugar talk. So today we're going to be shifting our conversation about athletes that are more and more are changing their lifestyle and joining a Nutritarian movement that Dr. Joel Fuhrman, and I love, Dr. Fuhrman, you may want to share the differences and why Nutritarian is a more balanced approach as far as a word goes to describe how we eat, as opposed to being vegan or vegetarian or anything else. Share why Nutritarian is the description of how the lifestyle that we've adopted.
Sure. The word Nutritarian has a completely different meaning than vegan. Vegan means you don't eat animal products.
Sure.
Your diet may be healthy or it may be unhealthy. It doesn't say anything about whether you're eating a healthy diet or not. Plenty of, most junk foods and processed foods and cancer-causing foods are vegan.
Yes.
And most vegans are not healthy.
Correct.
And most vegans even have higher rates of depression in studies than people who are non-vegan, because they're very often a deficiency in those omega-3 fatty acids to protect the brain. So, but in any case, a Nutritarian diet means your diet is rich in nutrients and complete in the nutrients humans need. In other words, we're using science to push the envelope of human longevity so everybody can be healthy to nearly 100 years old with full brain health, without cancer. And so the diet is designed to maximize human longevity. And the primary feature of the diet is not that it's lacking animal products, so we're not wiping out all animal products. The primary feature is it's very nutritionally complete and high in the phytochemicals and antioxidants from colorful plant foods. So it's the vast majority of calories come from whole plants, and those plants, we particularly put more emphasis on those plant materials that are rich in anti-cancer and longevity-promoting phytochemicals. So you could be a vegan and be on a nutritarian diet, and you could be a person who eats some animal products a few times a week and be on a nutritarian diet.
Yep. I love it. I love it.
You can't eat a lot of animal products and be a nutritarian because because obviously as you're eating more animal products, you're taking away you're crowding out things that you need to eat, number one. And number two, that animal products are not high phytochemical or antioxidant containing foods. They don't contain the anti-cancer materials, and the high protein animal products drive up certain hormones, particularly IGF-1, and they create certain inflammatory compounds in the blood that shorten lifespan. So any diet that's rich in animal products shortens lifespan. So the question is, how much animal products can a nutritarian eat and still, promote human lifespan and live to be 100 years old? What if you don't want to be a vegan? What if you still want to use animal products? How much animal products are acceptable on a nutritarian diet?
Good question.
And the answer is, to maximize human longevity, it's most likely the case that you would want to hold your animal product consumption under 5% of total calories, which just is a few ounces, maybe under 8 to 10 ounces per week. The average American eats 8 to 10 ounces per day, and we're saying if you're using animal products, it's a flavoring, it's a condiment. For a woman, it's under 8 ounces a week. Maybe it's 2 ounces to flavor a dish a couple of times, 2 or 3 times a week. So we're using animal products in very small amounts. Now, what I'm saying right now, even 10 ounces a week, even 10%. Now, don't forget the average American consumes 30% or more of the diet.
Yeah.
So we're saying even 10% of calories is most likely too high. And the blue zones around the world, the areas where you have the most long-lived people who live to be most centenarians, are all populations who eat less than 10% of calories from animal products. And the studies on human longevity have always shown that when you go above 10%, you shorten human lifespan precipitously, very damaging effects, like these paleo diets or ketogenic diets that we know are dangerous and dramatically shorten human lifespan because they use higher amounts of animal products and animal protein. So a nutritarian diet should be vegan or near vegan, or we call it flexitarian, near vegan, or vegan, but nutritarian means it's designed with the nutrients humans need to live healthy to 100 years old.
It makes sense. It makes sense. So number one question I get asked, and I'm sure you do too, is, and for athletes, most athletes, because marketing is so wonderful, we think the only way we can get protein is through animal products. So if we want to be high performance athletes or just on a regular basis, most people just don't know where the protein other than animal products. So can we dispel this myth about animal products only being the ones that hold the key to protein?
Well, one of the secrets of a nutritarian diet, and one of the secrets for athletic performance and longevity, and the secret to maintaining your athletic ability as you get older, keeping yourself more youthful, is getting more of your protein from plants and less from animal products. It's almost the primary secret to human longevity, is to eat plant foods that are rich in protein in place of animal products that are rich in protein. Because when you eat your plants that are rich in protein, you get all those antioxidants, phytochemicals, and longevity-promoting factors coming along with the protein. So the high-protein plant foods are green vegetables, are about 30 to 45% of calories from protein. Most meat is 30% of calories from protein. So we're talking about green vegetables are very high in protein. How do the hippopotamus, rhinoceros, elephant, giraffe, gorilla get so big? They eat a lot of green vegetables.
Yes.
Beans are very high in protein. Beans are also between 25 and 30% of calories from protein, same as animal products. And some beans that are particularly very high in protein are things like edamame and tempeh are very high in protein. Wheat germs very high in protein. Sunflower seeds and hemp seeds are particularly high in protein. And some athletes, some world-class athletes and bodybuilders and marathoners and triathletes we have on a nutritarian diet use Mediterranean pine nuts, because the Mediterranean pine nuts are exceedingly high in protein because they're trying to get more of the protein from whole natural plant foods, which give them better performance and slow their aging. So yes, we designed the diet, the nutritarian diet. It's a protein, it's a plant-rich diet. It's plant-based. It has very little animal products, even if they're choosing to use that. Most of the protein comes from plants, but these plant foods give you plenty of protein. And a lot of the diets we design for the athletes have more than 120 grams of protein a day. They're very, very high in protein because they're eating like 3,000 calories a day. So they're very rich in protein. They have about 12 to 15% of calories from protein. They're excellently designed for the athlete. And it's just like when you have a growing child, of a traditional vegan or high carbohydrate vegan diet may not have enough protein for the growing child because they're too starch based. But the Nutritarian diet is designed for the growing child and for the elderly person where protein assimilation goes down, making sure they don't get muscle wasting and sarcopenia in later life. And it's also designed for the athlete because it's a protein-rich plant-based diet because we're using these foods that are rich in plant proteins.
Okay, so here's the million-dollar question that I think we all, how much is enough protein? Because, we go through this media campaigns of you need a lot of protein or you need a lot of, carbs or you need a lot of, well, how do we know how much is enough for me? Because I'm not a top performing athlete, but I do want to have enough protein in my diet to I guess build my muscle and continue on my life being healthy. So how much protein is enough for each individual?
Well, for a person who's not an athlete, they probably 0.8 grams, 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram per day is an appropriate amount of protein. That means if you're if you're 100, let's say
125, 125.
125 pounds. So it's 2.2 pounds per kilogram. So if we do 125 times, let's do the math here. Opening up the calculator, 125 divided by 2.2, that's about 55 grams of protein per day you need.
How much?
50 grams, let's say about 50 grams of protein a day.
Okay.
Right? So that means that when you eat, so you easily would reach that, the 50 grams of protein you need. Maybe if you're an athlete, you need more than, maybe you need 1 gram of protein per body weight. So then I'm sorry, that's 55 kilograms. So we times that times 0.08. That means you would only need about 45 grams of protein a day, not 50 grams. But if you were an athlete, then you would times it times 1 or 1.1 or 1.2, maybe you need 60 grams of protein a day. So if you're a competitive athlete, you might need a little more protein. But what I'm saying is that the Nutritarian diet might give the person 70 to 90 grams of protein a day for that person. And if they were male and needed more calories, their protein might go up to double that. A person, a real triathlete, may be eating 3,000 to 4,000 or 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day and might consume, 150 grams of protein a day. What I'm talking about is that the protein percent usually falls between that 12 to 14% window. 12 to 14% of calories are coming from protein, giving you that in that ideal window of grams of protein a day you need. So what I'm saying is a well-designed Nutritarian diet. A Nutritarian diet, by definition, is well-designed. But a vegan diet can still be sufficiently rich in protein if it's well-designed to include the green vegetables, the beans, the nuts and seeds. It's still going to be in that 12 to 14% protein window, ideal for the athlete.
Okay, so I am still got so many questions about this because, and it's true what our email, Ebony from our email at the beginning, there is a lot out there. It can be confusing, but please continue to listen because we can make it through. We can learn what's best for us. And we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Joel Fuhrman when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay. So I'm going to keep the cameras rolling, Dr. Fuhrman, and I want to say, okay, so if I can eat 45, I'm 5'6", I weigh 125 pounds, and I want to be at 45 grams of protein in my food. What does 45 grams look like? I've never weighed a calorie. I've never had to do that. What I did, whenever I gain weight or when I was, what I would do is I would look at my sugar intake. How many pies did I have? Or, when I was younger, how much candy, how much sugar? And that's how I would release my weight. But now I want to make sure that I am reaching optimal health, even though I'm not I'm not an athlete. I want to be able to know, okay, what is 45 grams of protein? What does that look like? A handful of cashews? What?
Don't forget that That's because your way of thinking is like an animal product. You're thinking like a person who eats animal products.
Exactly.
This food is protein. This food is carbohydrate. This food is fat. I'm eating a high carbohydrate food. An animal product gives me my protein. You're not seeing that the broccoli gives you your protein.
Yes, I do. I
Potato
know
gives you
how
protein.
much broccoli.
The whole grain gives you your protein, but everything you're eating has protein in it. So your way of thinking, the question is not right.
Okay.
Because the question is dividing foods between saying this is a protein food, that's a carbohydrate food. And I'm saying all plant foods are high in protein. They're all high in carbohydrate. They all have a mixture of. They're not one food that gives you protein. You don't you're getting protein from everything you eat. Even the banana has protein in it. Even the whole wheat bread has protein.
Yeah, but the question is, how do I know I'm eating enough bananas? How much I'm eating enough broccoli?
The less you eat, the better. The less you eat, the longer you live.
Yes.
And your protein concentration doesn't change as your calorie goes up and down. You're still getting, because all these foods we're talking about are at least 10% of calories from protein, that you're always getting 10% of calories from protein no matter what you eat. Because all the foods contain 10% of calories from protein.
Can you say that on the air? 10% of calories is protein. I did not know that. So 10% of all my calories.
No, I'm saying at least, so some are 15. So I mentioned earlier that beans are 30% of calories in protein. Green vegetables are about 40% of calories in protein. But the average of your diet should be between that 10 and 15% of calories in protein spot. So anything except, fruit, everything you're eating, green vegetables are high protein. Even the fruit, which is less than 10%. A banana has 4% of calories in protein. But you still ate the beans. You don't have to think about measuring your protein. You just have to feel confident that you're eating whether you eat 1,000 calories or you eat 2,000 calories, you're getting on the average at least 10% of calories from protein, which is sufficient for humans' needs. The gorilla isn't sitting there weighing and measuring all this.
I know. I've never seen a gorilla with a scale.
Right.
You're right. That would be funny. You should do a meme like that, Dr. Fuhrman.
Yeah, the gorilla measuring their scale and measuring their food and saying, am I getting enough protein? Yeah.
Well, I remember one time you and I were laughing because about how I told you I'm hungry all the time, and you said, well, eat more. I'm like, okay. Well, eat your breakfast, eat your lunch. By the time breakfast is done, I've finished my dinner because I eat so much. I love to eat. What can I say?
Leave a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show. I want to encourage you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. Please become a subscriber. And when you become a subscriber, the show will be sent to you to your phone, your smartphone, or your tablet. You can also watch this on YouTube. And this segment, between the segments, I asked Dr. Fuhrman about protein and how I know I'm getting enough protein with my veggies and all that. And so if you want to listen to his response, you can go to YouTube, or you can go to whenyouneedafriend.com, click on the YouTube video, and it'll be on after the show. So Dr. Fuhrman, let's talk about some of these athletes that have decided to change their lifestyle and go with a Nutritarian vegan or let's just focus on Nutritarian. Can you share a little bit more about their performance, the changes that they've noted, and that people are now kind of like raising their eyebrows to, what's going on here with this? Could there be some fact to, reducing your animal intake and increasing your vegetables? What are you hearing from these athletes that have decided to change and are getting incredible results?
Well, I think the most important example is Venus Williams, the tennis player.
Yes.
Because Venus Williams had Sjogren's syndrome, which is a serious autoimmune condition, which made her have to leave the tennis tour and retire from tennis permanently. Mm. And then she learned about a Nutritarian diet, about this plant-based way to cure autoimmune conditions. And and her disease went away. She reversed her autoimmune disease and went back into playing professional tennis again. Mm. That is a great example to let people know who suffer with rheumatoid arthritis and lupus and Sjogren's syndrome and psoriasis and ulcerative colitis and psoriatic arthritis, that these are very serious diseases that people suffer from eating the American style of eating, that can be remedied and permanently cured through a Nutritarian diet. And Venus Williams is a very public example of that, a person who cured herself. You know,
Yes.
but a lot of athletes, a lot of the world-class tennis players eat so healthfully because they're not just doing it so they can hit the tennis ball harder or run faster. They're doing it so they can keep more youthful and age slower, so they can maintain their careers for more years as they get older. Instead of burning out at age 30 or 35, they can play till they're 45 and still maintain, they can still maintain their youthful vigor and compete effectively with younger athletes. And it's the same reason why basketball players and why Kyrie Irving, now of the Boston Celtics, he used to be LeBron James' sidekick on the Cleveland Cavaliers. He moved to Boston this year. He's one of the top players in the league. He's an incredible talent. He can do incredible things from both hands. He has such incredible feel and body control. So he changed his diet to a high nutrient, to really a Nutritarian style of diet. He dropped a few pounds that include, and he says it's improved his stamina at the end of games, but he always had great stamina. My point is that when you're training so heavily and at such high performance, that wears you down and increases your stress and propensity to catch a cold or an upper respiratory tract infection. And a lot of these world-class athletes follow a Nutritarian diet so they can keep training week to week and keep performing week to week, and they're not sick with viral infections, or so they do it because it protects their performance. I know a world-class skier is a friend who was one of my people I advised nutritionally, Eric Schlappi, was in 4 Olympic Games with downhill skiing, and he would carry his Vitamix with him and have the green smoothies, and he traveled through Europe because people are coughing in his face and shaking his hand, and he didn't want to get sick. And it didn't necessarily make him ski faster, but he knew that if he got sick for a week, his times wouldn't be that good the week after. And he wanted to make sure he's continuing to train and perform in ski races all year round, so he keeps his ranking in the top 10. And his longevity, he was in 4 Olympic Games. That's for 20 years he was still competing at that high level, and he quit because he got older and had kids, but his body didn't burn out. So these athletes and Federer, and Nadal and Djokovic and Murray, all these top tennis players, they don't eat junk food. They don't go out carousing at night drinking alcohol. They get sufficient sleep. They're eating their green vegetables and beans and onions. They're eating a healthy diet. They're very smart. These are very smart individuals who are looking at their career long-term, trying to put healthy food in their body to maintain their athletic longevity in their sport that they love so much. That's the main reason they do it.
Yeah. And so that is so I love hearing about Venus Williams, going back to that and how she's a great example. We have, like I said earlier, a dysfunctional relationship with food. Many of us don't even know that we have a dysfunctional relationship with food. When I decided to change my lifestyle and just switch from eating no meat, no pork, because my body just didn't digest it, that was the first step towards me taking action towards a nutritional lifestyle changes for me. I was ridiculed, Dr. Fuhrman. And then when I started eating no gluten, no dairy because of food allergies that I experienced, it got worse. The mocking and and it can be very difficult because when you go to family functions, all the food that's on that table is the same food that is making you sick. What can you give us hope and maybe empower us to walk away from that table and know that we're doing this till we could prolong our life and be healthy till we're 100?
Have the mentality of like an athlete. These athletes are highly motivated and highly successful individuals. Mm-hmm. They love what they do, and they're excited they're at the top of their game. And they don't just play basketball. Kyrie Irving doesn't just play basketball to make $10 million a year. He plays basketball because he loves playing basketball, and he wants to perform. His pride and he has a lot of self-esteem. And he'll do what it takes to be a great player. They'll put in the work. They'll put the hours in the gym. And these are the people that can successfully change their diet because they're so motivated and they have high self-esteem. When you have low self-esteem, you're looking for the approval of other people to grant you permission to eat a certain way. Yep. When you have high self-esteem and you're not looking for the approval of other people, you don't care what other people think of you. You don't care what other people say or are looking or disapprovingly. Who do you care? You're just doing what it takes to achieve what you want to achieve in your life.
And you do, and you figure out different ways because, you know, it's been 20 some years for me that I've changed my lifestyle. And many of the people, Dr. Fuhrman, that made fun of me at the beginning are now changing their diet because they're now facing their diseases. And that's because of the food that they're eating. So you're right. It's none of our business what people think of us. That's great advice.
That's right. You have to be courageous, and you have to be a role model for good health, and be courageous to do it publicly and not try to please other people, but try to make an example of how other people. And when you go to football, soccer games, baseball games, don't bring junk food. Bring healthy food to the kids. When you have a social occasion or a party or a holiday or a family meeting, don't do what other people do. Bring healthy food there. Show them healthy food. Great. Show them how important this is. Try to be a strong individual to help be a role model for other people and encourage other people to be healthier. Don't take second, So what I'm saying is that's an important part of your health, is to be that role model and to be courageous and to take great care of your health in public.
And speaking of that, Dr. Fuhrman, you have a gift for Ebony, the young lady that sent me the email. What would you like to say to her?
Is Ebony the mother or the child?
The mother. Ebony's the mother.
I want to send her and gift her my book, The End of Dieting, and have both Ebony and her daughter go through it together and really study it. And I want it to save their lives. Both of them have a long and healthy life and be vigorous and slim and athletic and have a great life, and report back to me how she does, because she should be losing 100. Because this year, in 2018, she should lose 100 pounds. If she reads the book and just follows it carefully, she should lose 100 pounds this year.
And it's very educational.
She's going to lose going to be the start. Next year, she'll lose another 50 pounds. She needs to lose 150 pounds, but let's take off 100 pounds in 2018. That means 2 pounds a week, and to be in contact with me to make sure she's losing 2 pounds a week.
Okay, well, that sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for your generosity, not only for Ebony, but for your time here on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show. You rock, Dr. Fuhrman, and I'm so grateful to see you once a month on the air. So thank you.
Thank you, too.
And to you, my listening friend, you can't unlearn the truth. It is time to take your health back. It's not very difficult. It just like Dr. Fuhrman said, it takes courage. And all you need is 20 seconds of courage to do anything you want, to take that first step. Please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Great job, Dr. Fuhrman.
Thanks, Lily.